Hello students, myself Dr. Sheki Pratima, Ahmednagar Jilla Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajas, New Arts, Commerce and Science College, Ahmednagar. In the last video, we have just discussed some points related to the law of demand, like a statement of the law of demand, symbolically relationship between the demand and the price. And also we have discussed the schedule and graphical representation of the law of demand. Okay, so today we have just started the next point, the exceptions in the law of demand. Basically, we know the demand means the desire, okay, but the only desire means not the demand. We should have ability to pay, also willingness to pay. It can be said that demand, okay. So what does the law of demand says? Law of demand says when the price of the commodity will rise, its quantity demanded will fall. So it's very simple reason that if the prices of the commodity will rise, undoubtedly it will become unaffordable for some customers. They will demand less. When they will demand less, ultimately demand falls. Same way, the price will fall, the quantity demand will rise, because due to fall in price, it will become affordable for many customers. When they will able to, undoubtedly they will increase demand. So demand will rise, and the basic statement, if you have to discuss the basic statement of the law of demand, so that statement means the other things being equal, higher the price of a commodity, smaller is the quantity demanded, and lower the price of a commodity, larger is the quantity demanded. So this statement will clearly suggest that price is the single factor which is directly affected the demand. In this law, we already assume that the other things being constant. So means the population, their taste, preference, their habits, and the people's income, it's constant. See, the law of demand says when the price of commodity will rise, its quantity demanded will fall. So that's why it's an inverse relationship between the demand and price. So let's come to the next point, most important point related to the today's video, the exceptions in the law of demand. This is the last point of the law of demand. We understood what is the law of demand and what are the assumptions. So let's understand what are the exceptions. Basically, what is the mean by exceptions? There is some rules. Suppose they say only this movie is for adults, this movie is for the kids. Means there are some assumptions. There could be some the people who they can watch it. So some in the next example, if we have to discuss, some seats are available for the handicapped people in railway. So other people who are not including the handicap, even they can come to the special permission. So the situation is not supported to the law of demand. It is called as the exceptions. Means it is not applicable to the law of demand. Basically, exceptions means the price. When we know when the price will rise, people demanded more unit of a commodity. They do not consider the price, and when price of commodity falls, consumer buys less of commodity. That is the exceptional situation. Means this situation cannot support the law of demand. It is opposite to the law of demand. Means it's not applicable to the law of demand. So the law of demand explains an inverse relationship. But just we have discussed the next the graphical representation. You have to see in your screen the graph one, the exceptional demand curve. Okay, so the law of demand explains the inverse relationship between the price of a commodity and quantity demanded. But the sometime, see, I have to say that sometime we see a direct relationship between price and quantity demanded of a commodity. Means this the direct relationship means what? If the price will rise, so demand will rise. If price will fall, so demand will fall. So that is called as the direct relationship. In the law of demand, we studied the demand curve, okay? But you have to remember these all situation. We have to study the demand curves, okay? What is the slope about demand curve? The demand curve slope is left to right, downward. See, I have to say the all student, please. The understood these all things. The demand curve slope is always left to right. This curve will explain the inverse relationship. But we know the direct relationship means what? Law of demand, there is means sometime there is a direct relationship between demand and price. In the that is called as the exceptional case. In that case, demand curve slope is left to right, upward. In the exceptional case, see the all student, please understood that statement. In the exceptional case, the demand curve slope is always left to right, upward, and it's explained the direct relationship between the demand and price, and it's a positive slope. So the means the if you have to see in your screen the graph means the exceptional demand curve. See the OX axis measures the quantity demanded and Y axis measures the price in rupees. DD, see the DD is the demand curve whose slope is left right upward. And it's explained the direct relationship between the demand and the price. So let's come to the main point, which is the exceptional cases of the law of demand. So the first point is Giffen's goods or the Giffen's paradox. See, there are a few other the name of that point: the Giffen goods, inferior goods, or the Giffen's paradox. This is the first exception to the law of demand. Is Giffen goods? Okay, it is called also Giffen's paradox. When the price falls, less quantity demanded because of the negative income effect. So the negative income effect means the people's income is limited. So that's why they always see and they always focus what is the price about that commodity. Okay, so the income effect and the people's increasing the preference for a superior commodity means if the price falls, so that time your purchasing power is increased, and you have to prefer the superior goods with the rise in their real income. In other words, if the price of inferior goods is false, so the people's purchasing power is increased, and they prefer a superior good with rise in their real income. See, this is the Giffen goods. Who is the Giffen? Sir Robert Giffen is observed the situation related to the demand for bread and meat in England. See, Sir Robert Giffen is served he is handled the situation for those people. This is the psychological bias. See, the bread, he has to select the two commodity, the bread and meat. When price of bread was decreasing, less bread was purchased. Means bread is the inferior good and meat is a superior good. So if the price of bread is false, so automatically people will demand the meat. It's a superior good. So the additional or the surplus money was transferred to the purchased meat, and the last result is demand for meat increased. This behavior is known as the Giffen's paradox. See, the Robert Giffen survey in the England, this situation he is handled. Giffen goods are the inferior goods which have a direct relationship between price and quantity demanded. In this case, the demand curve slope is upward from left to right. In this case, the demand curve will explain the direct relationship between the demand and price. So let's come to the next point, the prestige goods. This is the another most important exception in the law of demand. See, the prestige good means which good? It's a high price good like diamond, then motor cars, then luxurious bungalow. These are the prestige goods. The rich people can maintain these our status symbol. Such goods have a snob appeal. Means these rich people always maintain our status symbol. They always demanded those goods. They always purchase those goods, and they always change the luxurious goods. So rich people always they maintain our status symbol and always prefer those goods. So those people consume such prestige goods when the price of these goods rises. Their demand will rise. Means they never consider the price about that commodity. So this situation is not accordable to the law of demand. So this is the most important exception to the law of demand. So the next point is speculation. So the speculation means what? When people will they speculate a change in price of a commodity in future. See, if we have to celebrate the Diwali festival, what is the condition about that time? If the most important and necessary good like sugar, oil, then the other goods. So if we admire in future few days, after few days, if those commodities prices will rise, so what is the condition about the at present? We have demanded the extra units of that commodity. For example, in the stock market, people purchase more shares at rising prices. Even if price of some goods like the sugar, oil, etc. are rising. Before Diwali, people purchasing more of these things at the rising prices. Because after few days, his mind is changed. He always think that if the price will rise after few days, we never purchased. So at present we have purchased those goods because they think that the prices of these goods may increase further during Diwali. So that's why the situation is not support to the law of demand. So that is the exception to the law of demand. Then the next point is price illusion or the consumer psychological bias. Basically, normal consumer purchase those goods which is affordable to his income because the normal people's behavior is different. We all are a consumer. We consume the different goods and services. And what is the psychology? Our psychology. If we have to visit some the malls, otherwise the retail market, so that time we always the focus the price about that commodity. We always seen every commodity. If we have to handle that commodity, we always see the price, basic price about that commodity. But that consumer psychology is such that the high price goods are of a better quality. See, the demand for such goods tends to increase with a rise in their price. For example, the branded products, which are the expensive, are demanded at a high price. See, those commodities price is high, so that's why we admire that the commodities quality is better. So this is not the accordable to the law of demand. So that's why it's an exception. The next is the ignorance. Sometimes consumers do not have the proper market knowledge. We never visit any market, otherwise sometime we have joined that market, so that time we don't know what is the price about the commodity, if it is increases or decreases. So the market knowledge means price related knowledge, which commodities price increased and which is not. So they purchase more unit of a commodity at a higher price. So this situation is not also the support to the law of demand. This is the exceptional case. Then last point is habitual goods. See, some consumers have maintained our habit. The habit, otherwise, we know some people are addict some commodities like a tobacco, then the cigarette, etc. They have consumed some the habitual goods like a tobacco or the cigarettes. They are purchased those goods even if the prices are rising. Mostly, this is related to the addict person. So these are the exceptions to the law of demand. So the habitual goods cannot support to the law of demand. Means people's habit is different. They never consider the price about the commodity. They always fulfill our the basic wants and they create and maintain the satisfaction. Okay, those commodity, if it is not the support to your health, but they are addict. Those peoples are addict, and that's why they are demanded those goods and services. So this the habitual goods, this point is not support to the law of demand, and it's exceptions to the law of demand. See, these all points near about we have discussed the 6 points. Okay, so these 6 points will explain the condition about the law of demand. Means it's exceptional cases. It's not support to the law of demand. It's opposite to the law of demand. Okay, so in your board exam, just we have completed the total the law of demand, total the throughout the near about the 3 or 4 videos we have throughout discussed the law of concept of law of demand. Okay, so this law of demand, which point is most important in your board exam? See, if board will ask the question, explain the law of demand in detail. In detail means what? Throughout every point is important. The first of all, we have discussed the statement of the law of demand, then symbolically expression, then the schedule, and then most important is the assumption. Okay, because we have assumed that situation, and then last point is the exceptions in the law of demand. So these all points are important in your board exam, because we never completed the throughout the concept of law of demand. Otherwise, the question is the law of demand. See, these all points is important, and throughout in your board exam, the board will always ask this question. They explain the law of demand. Okay, so we just completed the the most important point, the law of demand. In the next few video, we have discussed the increasing demand, decreasing demand, expansion and contraction of demand. Okay, so the goodbye everybody. So stay home, stay safe. Bye everybody.